Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today we are reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, shlokas number 50 and 51. Very nice verses about Buddhi Yoga. We can see that Krishna has been speaking about Buddhi Yoga, right? For the last 10 verses or so. Okay, so today we will continue that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 2, sloka number 50 and 51. We will read both of them together. Okay? Buddhiyukto jahatiha, buddhiyukto jahatiha, ubhe sukrita dushkrite, ubhe sukrita dushkrite, tasmat yogaya yujyasva, tasmat yogaya yujyasva, yoga karma sukhaushalam, yoga karma sukhaushalam. Sloka number 51. कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि कर्मजं बुद्धियुक्ता हि फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः फलं त्यक्त्वा मनीषिणः जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ता जन्मबन्धविनिर्मुक्ता पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम् पदं गच्छन्त्यनामयम्. Okay. So now let us look at the translation of sloka number 50. Okay. So, translation by Srila Prabhupada. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. Sloka number 51, the translation is, by this engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. All right. Okay. So we can see here how since time immemorial, okay, we have actually performed many activities, a lot of work, a lot of activities, and so we have accumulated the results of our good work and bad work. Okay, so because of that, because of this, because we are deluded by the actions and reactions of whatever we have done, we become ignorant of our eternal constitutional position. Okay, so how do we remove this ignorance? Only when we remove this ignorance, we can be clear about what our constitutional position is. Okay, so we can remove this ignorance by hearing the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, because the Bhagavad Gita teaches us to surrender to Krishna. And when we surrender to Krishna, then we can become liberated from all the results that we have accumulated. Okay, so that's why Krishna is advising Arjuna to act based on Krishna consciousness. Okay, so in the purport of the second sloka, sloka number 51, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse, which he quotes very, very often, right, from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's from the 14th chapter, right? after Brahma has uh, recited his prayers and seeked forgiveness from the Lord. Okay, so this shloka appears in that same chapter. Okay, basically the shloka, Prabhupada has quoted this many times. Okay, Vasta padam 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 param padam. Okay, padam padam yat vipadam natesham. Okay, vatsa padam bhavam budher vatsa padam. So what the meaning of this shloka is that for whoever who has accepted the lotus feet of the Lord, what happens to them? This ocean, this material world is like an ocean, but this ocean, although it is huge, it is vast, this ocean becomes no bigger than the water accumulated in the hoof of a of in the print of a calf's hoof. You know, the calf will leave hoof prints on the sand as it walks, right? So how big is that hoof print? This big. So this ocean of the material world becomes just as big as water contained in that hoof print, meaning it becomes very small and it becomes very easy for us to cross. If we do what? If we accept the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus feet of the Lord is like a boat which helps us cross over this material ocean. And when we accept those lotus feet, then this material ocean becomes no bigger than water contained in that calf's hoof print. You know, that imprint on the sand, very small, just this much of water, becomes very easy to cross, right? So then when we cross over that, when we accept the lotus feet of the Lord, it's easier for us to return to Parampadam. Parampadam means Vaikuntha. Okay? So, one who accepts the lotus feet of the Lord, his goal is Vaikuntha, not to continue staying in this material world. Why not to stay in this material world? Because this material world is Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesham. Every step in this material world contains danger. Okay? So, due to our ignorance, we actually do not know that this material world is actually a very miserable place and there are dangers in every single step. So we are less intelligent and we try to adjust by doing some fruitive activities, doing some good deeds, thinking that the results of these good deeds will make us happy, will give us some good benefits, pious results, and we will be happy. But actually, in this entire universe, there is no form of material body which can give life without miseries. Srila Prabhupada actually says this in the purport. Every body that you take will give you misery. Okay, birth, death, old age, disease, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi is everywhere in the universe. Okay, because we do not know that our constitutional position is actually to be a servant of the Lord. Okay, if we know that, then we will serve nicely here, we will do devotional service very nicely to the Lord so that we can go back to Vaikuntha and have no miseries. Here there's birth, death, old age, and disease, but in Vaikuntha there is no influence of time, meaning no old age, no disease, no death either. Okay, so now, so it's important that we realize our constitutional position. That's the point, right? That these shlokas are hitting at, right? So, in order for us to know our constitutional position, first we have to know the Lord's position. Otherwise, what happens? We think that we're equal to the Lord and we won't render service. Only when we know that we are subservient, then we understand that our constitutional position is to render service to the Lord, right? Okay. So otherwise, we just think we're equal to the Lord, and we simply, what do we do when we think we're equal to the Lord? We think that we can. Some people think in some philosophies, they think that they will one day become the Lord, right? By merging into the Lord, and then we become the Lord. We are the Lord. We are in the Lord. The Lord is in us, and all of that, right? So when we think, when we adopt these philosophies, then we tend to think we're equal to the Lord. Simply, we are paving our way for repeated birth and death, birth and death, birth and death, old age disease. The same cycle will keep occurring. But if we understand that our position is to serve the Lord, then we can easily render devotional service very sincerely and transfer ourselves to the service of the Lord and become eligible to enter the Vaikuntha planets where we can become free of misery and where we can serve the Lord very nicely eternally. Okay, so therefore, this is called Buddhi Yoga, to understand our constitutional position and to understand that our duty is to serve the Lord very nicely. Okay, so that's the essence of these two verses, slokas number 50 and 51 of chapter 2. Okay, so thank you very much, dear devotees. So next we have our bhajan. Is that correct, Prabhu, or do we recite the slokas?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Danat Pranam Mataji.
Dandvat
I
Pranam
have a
Mataji.
small doubt.
Yes,
I'm
Mataji.
sitting with the book, just the last sentence, please, may you kindly tell me the meaning. Service for the cause of the Lord is called Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, or in plain words, devotional service to the Lord. I'm just, I mean, my understanding is such that the words Karma Yoga and Buddhi Yoga are being used interchangeably. Is that right, Mataji, or am I wrong?
Yes, yes, Mataji, that's correct. That's correct.
But Karma Yoga is different from Buddhi Yoga, no, Mataji?
No, here Prabhupada is saying that it's the same. Service for the Lord, Karma Yoga can be called Buddhi Yoga, right?
Okay,
So,
okay,
yes, yes, Mataji.
okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So now do we do the 15th chapter?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's the bhajan now. It's the kirtan now.
It's the
Somebody, yes,
Kirtan. Okay,
kirtan.
okay, okay, Mataji. So, today we are supposed to do verses 3 and 4 of the Chaurashtakam. So, let me just open that
Mataji,
very
5,
quickly.
6, and 7. Sorry.
5, 6, and 7.
5,
3 and 4 are done.
yeah, yes, Mataji. Yesterday, Komla Mataji sang the whole Chaurashtakam. If some devotee wants to recite the whole, can do that. Or 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, let's recite 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so may I know which melody we have been reciting it in? Is it Vraje Prasitam Navanita Choram? Is it that one or is it
Yes, yes,
Vraje
Mataji.
Prasidam? The first one, no? The first one which
First
I
one,
sang?
yes, Mataji.
Okay, okay. So now what we'll do is we'll recite slokas number. You said 5, 6, 7, Mataji?
4, 5, 6, Mataji.
4, 5, 6, sorry.
1, 2, 3 are done. 4,
Okay,
5, 6.
1, 2, 3 are done, right? Okay, so let's start with number 4. Okay, so Chaurashtakam by this is composed by who? Who can tell me very quickly? Unmute and just say
Mangal Thakur.
Bilva Mangala Thakur. Yes, very nice. Okay, let me share the screen. Sloka number 4. यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषां गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशिन्. We'll say again. यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषां गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशिन्. आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चोरयिदृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न मया कदापि आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चोरयिदृक् दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न मया कदापि दानं च मानं च ततेन्द्रियाणि प्राणांश्च हृत्वा मम सर्वमेव दानं च मानं च ततेन्द्रियाणि प्राणांश्च हृत्वा मम सर्व एव पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचोर त्वं भक्तिधाम्नासि माया निरुद्धा पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचोर त्वं भक्तिधाम्नासि माया निरुद्धा छिनत्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धं बिनत्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धं छिनत्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धं बिनत्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धं छिनत्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धं छिनत्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धम्. Okay, so those were verses number 4, 5, and 6. So now let's recite the translation. Verse number 4. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins, such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard anywhere. Okay, and would anyone like to read number 5?
Yes, Mataji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Beautiful. And number 7, would anyone like to read?
Hare Krishna Mataji,
6.
Dandavat Pranam.
Yes,
6
go
months.
ahead, Mataji. Number 6, sorry.
Number 6. You cut the terrible noose of Yamraja. You serve, you
Sever.
sever the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slash everyone's material bondage, but
You are.
but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Very, very beautiful. The Lord is so merciful to his devotees because he simply, I mean, the love for his devotees, the Lord cannot deny. The Lord simply accepts and he becomes surrendered completely to his devotees. Okay, so very beautiful verse. Okay, so now we can go through the story first if it's okay. So today, our Krishna book story for the day is the killing of Satrajit and Satadanva. Okay, so yesterday, what story did we learn? Did we read?
Shyamantika Jewel Mataji.
Shamantaka Jewel, amazing. Yes, one of my favorites actually. So this is sort of a continuation of that. Okay, this Shamantaka Jewel story is very nice, very beautiful points, right? From this story. Yesterday you saw how Krishna fought with Jambavan, okay? And actually, did the jewel mean much to Jambavan? Did the jewel mean anything? Shamantaka jewel, everyone, some men in Dwaraka were crazy after it because it could produce so much wealth. But how did Jambavan approach the jewel?
He thought it was a toy and gave it to his child to play with it.
Yes, for him it was just a toy. He gave it to his child to play with, right? It means because Jambavan was a very great devotee of Lord Ram, because he was a devotee of the Lord, wealth meant nothing to him. He was experiencing something beyond wealth. Okay. And at first, when Krishna came, because he couldn't recognize the Lord, this is also the Lord's pastime because the Lord likes to fight. The Lord wants to engage in sport. That's his way of, showing mercy to his devotees as well. So Jambavan could not recognize the Lord. And thus Jambavan was not willing to give away that toy which meant nothing to him. He was not willing to give it to the Lord. But when Jambavan actually realized who the Lord is, he completely surrendered to the Lord. And at that point in time, Jambavan was willing to give something which was the most precious to him, to the Lord, which was his daughter. His daughter was the most, it's described, the Acharyas described that Jambavan's daughter was the most precious thing that Jambavan ever considered he had. And initially, he was not even willing to give the jewel which meant nothing to him. Okay, because he wanted to defend his son and he wanted to defend that toy for his son. But when he learned about the identity of the Lord and he surrendered to the Lord, he was willing to give away even his most prized possession, which was his daughter Jambavati. Okay, so Krishna will go back, he will marry Jambavati, and then Satrajit will actually come. Satrajit will feel very foolish. Krishna will go and return the jewel to Satrajit. So Satrajit will feel very foolish. He will come and return the jewel, give the jewel along with his daughter Satyabhama to Krishna. Okay, but Krishna could understand that actually internally Satrajit did not want to part, was not yet ready to part with the jewel. So Krishna will say, don't worry. So Krishna will of course accept his daughter Satyabhama, but he will return the jewel to Satrajit and Satrajit will keep the jewel in his possession. Okay. So what happens now? Krishna goes to Hastinapura because the Pandavas' house was set on fire. That house was made out of lac. So it was Duryodhana's conspiracy. That house was made out of lac, and Duryodhana got someone to set it on fire. But the Pandavas escaped. But no one knew that. Even Bhishma, Drona, Kripacharya, Gandhari, they all don't know that the Pandavas actually escaped. Everyone is extremely sad. These devotees whom I just mentioned, they're all extremely sad, thinking that the Pandavas and Kunti Devi have burnt in the fire. Okay, so Krishna and Balaram knew that the Pandavas had escaped and they are fine. They know that they cannot be killed. Okay, so but for the sake of courtesy, Krishna and Balaram also went to Hastinapura and they met all the senior members of the Kuru dynasty, Drona, Bhishma, Gandhari, and they expressed their grief and they were with the family, right, during that time. Okay, so while they were away, Krishna and Balaram were away, there was a conspiracy to take that Shamantaka jewel away from Satrajit. Okay, the chief of this conspiracy was a person called Shatadanva. This Shatadanva was very, very angry at Satrajit. Why? Because what had Satrajit done? He had promised different candidates actually that he will get his daughter married to them. So Shatadanva was one of those candidates. So he was very angry and annoyed that how did you end up giving both the jewel and your daughter to Krishna when you had told me that you will marry your daughter to me? Right? In fact, actually, like I said, Satrajit promised many others as well. So all those others, along with Shatadanva, they made a conspiracy. Okay, let's take away this jewel from Satrajit. Let's kill Satrajit. He has behaved immorally, they said. So let's kill him. Okay. So they all made a conspiracy together. Okay. So then what happened? Akrura, okay, who's a devotee of Krishna, and Kritavarma as well, who is also a devotee of Krishna, they were also part of this conspiracy. They wanted to take the jewel from Satrajit. Okay, but their intention was they wanted that Krishna should have the jewel. They didn't like the fact that Satrajit took the jewel for himself. They thought that Krishna should have the jewel, right? So Jiva Goswami also gives a commentary for this. You see, all of the others who were in the conspiracy, like Shatadanva and all those other men, they were all sinful. Akrura and Kritavarma, they were actually devotees of the Lord. But why did they join this conspiracy with the other sinful men? It's all due to reaction. So Jiva Goswami actually gives a commentary. He says that, see, Akrura took Krishna away from Vrindavan, right? He is the one who went to Vrindavan. You would have heard also in this series that Akrura went to Vrindavan and he took Krishna and Balaram away and brought them to Mathura. So the Vrajvasis were very upset with Akrura. And if the Vrajvasis get upset, they are the highest level of devotees, right? So they actually cursed Akrura. So Akrura had to suffer some reaction of that curse. So that's why he briefly got the association of these sinful men. Kritavarma, same reason. He had got bad association with Kamsa, right? So therefore he was contaminated by sinful reactions and had to be purified. So therefore both of them had to briefly suffer the reactions of this, of their past, right? Okay, so what did Shatadanva do? Back to the story. Shatadanva will enter Satrajit's house in the middle of the night, and there were many ladies in that residence. They were all shouting as soon as they saw him, but he did not bother. He approached, Satrajit was sleeping on the bed. He just approached him and butchered him very brutally in an inhumane way. Okay, and because Krishna, we discussed, right, that Krishna and Balaram were not in Hastinapura. Krishna and Balaram were not in Dwaraka. They had gone to Hastinapura. So Satyabhama was temporarily in her father's house at that time. And she immediately came and she saw her father being butchered in his bedroom, and she was very upset and she started crying, my dear father, my dear father. And she will want to inform Krishna immediately. Okay, so Satrajit's cremation was not immediately done. So they preserved his body actually in a tank of oil. And what did Satyabhama, his daughter, do? She immediately went to Hastinapura to inform Krishna, right, about how her father had so ghastly died, right, in the hands of Shatadanva. So as soon as she informs Krishna, so Krishna, of course, in this material world, Krishna plays the part of an ordinary man, a husband, and so he laments also the death of his father-in-law in order to show full sympathy, right, to his dear wife Satyabhama. And Krishna immediately returns to Dwaraka, promising Satyabhama that he will kill Shatadanva, because according to Shastras, if one has killed a superior, right, then he should be killed in the same way, right? So Krishna and Balaram, they immediately return to Dwarka. So in Dwarka, Shatadanva takes shelter of many people. He tries to tell them, please help me, including Akrura and Kritavarma, but they tell him very nicely because they are devotees of the Lord. So they tell him, see, if Krishna wants to kill, then no one can protect you, right? Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, right? So it's okay. Being killed in the hands of Krishna is also good. But Shatadanva, he rides on a very fast horse and he immediately fled from Dwarka city. And of course, Krishna and Balaram, they fled after him in their horses. They ran after him, right? And after riding in the horse for a great distance, Shatadanva's horse becomes exhausted and it just collapses and dies because no time to even stop for food and water, right? So it dies. Where does it die? Outside of Mithila. Outside of Mithila. And Shatadanva, what does he do? He gets down of the horse, from the horse, and he starts running very, very quickly. And so, to be fair to Shatadanva, you see how Krishna and Balaram, they practice religious principles. They also get down from their horses and they start running behind him because it has to be equal, right? Okay. So then, what does Krishna do? Krishna takes out his disc and sends the chakra and cuts off the head of Shatadanva. Okay. And then Krishna quickly searches the body of Shatadanva but does not find the jewel. So Balaram tells Krishna, okay, so the jewel must be with someone in Dwaraka. He would have kept it with them there. Actually, Shatadhanva keeps the jewel with Akrura. Okay, and he leaves, he runs away from Dwaraka. So before he ran away, he gave Akrura the jewel. He said, okay, you please keep this with you. And he runs away. Okay, so Krishna says he will return to Dwaraka. So Balaram says, no, no, I will stay in Mithila, because Balaram had a very, very nice, intimate friendship with the king of Mithila, Janaka Maharaj, right? So Balaram decides to stay in Mithila and spend a few days with the king, who greets him very nicely and takes very nice care of Lord Balram. And this is actually the time that Duryodhana approaches Lord Balaram. So Krishna leaves for Dwaraka. Duryodhana approaches Lord Balaram and requests Lord Balaram to teach him the art of fighting with the club. So we know that Duryodhana is a student of Balaram, and finally Duryodhana and Bhima combat at the end, right? So Balaram actually trains Duryodhana very, very nicely in this art of fighting with the club. Okay. So then Krishna returns to Dwaraka and tells Satyabhama, see, I have avenged the death of your father. The killer is now also killed, right? And according to religious principles, of course, Krishna and Satyabhama, they perform all the ceremonies in honor of Krishna performs it in honor of his departed father-in-law. Okay. And then, of course, Krishna knows that Akrura has the jewel. So Akrura is currently in Kashi. Kashi is the town where Akrura's mother hails from. Akrura's mother was the daughter of the king of Kashi, actually. So Akrura had visited Kashi, right? So Krishna will call Akrura, please come, right? And Krishna will tell Akrura, because Akrura is like Krishna's uncle. Even when Akrura goes to Vrindavan, right? When Krishna and Balaram see him for the first time, they say, my uncle, please come, right? So Krishna had a very fond relationship with Akrura, and he always called him my uncle, right? So he'll say, my dear uncle, I understand that the jewel is with you. And of course, rightly so, it can be with you, because Satrajit only had one daughter, Satyabhama. And Satyabhama is not really interested in the jewel. And currently she is expecting a son. Okay. And her son can take it from you in the future. But for now, it's best that you keep it, because this jewel should not be kept by any ordinary man. Because the jewel can influence the mindset to, the man, whoever keeps it will become extremely insecure and will become spoilt by wealth, right? So this jewel should only be kept by someone who's very strong spiritually and very pious, right? Not an ordinary person. So you are very pious. So you should keep the jewel with you, Krishna tells Akrura. You see how Krishna handles this whole thing, right? From the beginning of the story of the Shamantaka jewel, right? So very nicely. So, but please, Akrura, just show it once to us so that all our doubts can be cleared, right? Just like Krishna went in search of the jewel when Satrajit's brother Prasanna went, right? And Krishna brought back the jewel. So again, here Krishna wants to clear the doubts of everyone. So Krishna tells Akrura, just show us the jewel. So Akrura immediately gives the jewel to Krishna. Krishna takes it and shows it to all the family members and the friends who are present in the assembly and says, see, this is the jewel, and I am now again returning it to Akrura for his safekeeping. Okay, so everyone's doubts were cleared. Okay, and Akrura continued to keep the jewel in Dwaraka city. Yeah, so this story of this Shamantaka jewel is very, very significant, right? Yesterday also you would have seen, today also. So wonderful lessons, right, from this story. And there's a Shruti Phala for this story. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that anyone who hears this story of this Shamantaka jewel, right? All of you have heard yesterday and little continuation today. And if you describe it, if we simply describe it, if we simply remember it, if we simply hear this, we will become free from all kinds of defamation and reactions of all impious activity and attain the highest perfectional condition of peace. You'll always be peaceful. You've heard this wonderful story. Okay. So thank you all devotees for giving me this opportunity to share this wonderful katha with you in this most auspicious month of Purushottam. Okay. So yes, thank you all very much. So now we can recite the Govardhana Dharam Vande and the Vande Navagana Shama 33 times, I think, right? So yes, please go ahead, devotees.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Prabhu. Mataji.
may I,
Can I?
Mataji?
Yes. So first we'll hear from Madhu Malati Mataji and then Nirmala Mataji. How many times does each person chant?
11 times.
Okay, yes. First Madhu Malati Mataji 11 times and then Nirmala Mataji 11 times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमम् गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलो उत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमम् गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलो उत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलो उत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सव ईशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमम् हरे कृष्ण माताजी दावत प्रणाम
Hare Krishna, Mataji. गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवमीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं हरे कृष्ण माताजी।
Hare Krishna devotees, 33 times done.
No,
No,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji, only 22
only
times.
22 has been done.
How many times? Yeah. How many times?
22.
Okay, one more devotee. Please.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नमघनश्यामं गिरिजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवईशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं गिरिजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमम् गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नमघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवे कुलत्संविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नमघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवैशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नमघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरणं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानं गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरणं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नवघनश्यामं द्विभुजमुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधारं देवं शरणं पुरुषोत्तमं गोवर्धनधारं वन्दे गोपालं गोपरूपिणं गोकुलोत्सवीशानां गोविन्दं गोपिकाप्रियं वन्दे नमघनश्यामं द्विभुजं मुरलीधरं पीताम्बरधरं देवं शरदं पुरुषोत्तमं हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी अन्ना करो।
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Girivardhari Prabhuji. Prabhuji would like to do Tulsi Aarti, so we will all take darshan of the lordships and observe and learn from Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
15th chapter not recited.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
15th chapter not recited.
15th chapter not recited. Okay, thank you very much. So okay, let's recite the 15th chapter, devotees. Thank you very much. So Bhagavad Gita as it is, go into chapter number 15. Okay, devotees, please start.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी में आए।
Hare Krishna, yes.
चैप्टर 15 अथ पंचदशो अध्यायः पुरुषोत्तमयोगः। श्रीभगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलम् अधः शाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित्। अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवालाः अधश्च मूलानि अनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण। न रूपमस्येह तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिं च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण न दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत् परिमार्गितव्यं यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यत प्रवृत्ति प्रसृता पुराणी। हरे कृष्ण।
निर्मानमोघा जितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तिकामा द्वन्द्वैर्मुक्ता सुखदुःखसज्ञै गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम।
ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनःशस्त्राणीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरं यत् अवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयत्।
श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढा नानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः।
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्या अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्य अकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त्य अचेतसः यद् आदित्यागतं तेजो जगत् भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विधि मामकम्।
गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्याहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वः सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तं पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्।
सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मतः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानं पोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत्वेदविदेव चाहं द्वाविमपुरुषो लोकेशर चाक्षर एव च शरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थक्षर उच्यते।
उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्तव्य य ईश्वरः यस्मात्क्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रतितः पुरुषोत्तमः। हरे कृष्ण।
यो मामेव सम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद्भूत्वा बुद्धिमान् यस्यात् कृतकृत्यश्च भारत हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। ओम तत्सदि श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna Mati, thank you very much. Girivardhari Prabhu and Abhira Kanya Mataji, over to you.
देव्याय
वो वॉल्यूम, हाँ ओके।
वृंदाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवश्च विष्णुभक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो वृंदाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवश्च विष्णुभक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो वृंदाय तुलसीदेव्याय प्रियाय केशवश्च विष्णुभक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवताय नमो वृंदादेवी की जय तुलसीदास की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण केवल यही अभिलाषी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः ये तुम्हारो शरणोए तारा वंचा पुनः होए कृपा करी करो तारे वृंदावन वासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः मोरा यही अभिलाष किया तुझे दियोलास नयने हरि बो सदा युगल रूप राक्षी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियसी नमो नमः निवेदन धरो सखीर मुगत करो सेवादि करो दिए करो निज दासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः बिना कृष्ण दासे कोई यही नाम होय राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये नवासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये नवासी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माः करिकानि च तानि तानि प्राणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माः करिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माः करिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinde Devi, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinde Devi, 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 Jaya वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय कृष्ण भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्योदाय वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय कृष्ण विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्योदाय वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय कृष्ण विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्योदाय वृंद देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय
श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ जी की जय।
जय।
पंचतत्व की जय
जय।
गोस्वामी जी की जय
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the beautiful darshan. We are blessed, Prabhuji. Thank you so much abundantly.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you very much, Sri Hari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.